beautiful soul. Welcome to the Quantum Business Queen podcast. This podcast is a vortex for activating wealth, riches, and boss bitches. It is here that I teach multi-dimensional business. Our content will fall under 3 different categories: 5D quantum creation, 4D frequency alchemy, and the most potent 3D strategy. Every aspect of business that contributes to the creation of success is covered here. Plus, I will be personally interviewing the most amazing boss bitches that are at the forefront of the game, paving the way for money, magic, and magnetism in business. Let's get ready to activate all of that within you. Hello, Angel. Welcome to this episode of the Quantum Business Queen podcast. I'm excited to go deep with you today, as always. And if you have listened to the episodes, you will know that this year has been a big year for me. I have been through a lot of personal egoic deaths and rebirths and annihilations of my old self, which is necessary for the emergence of the new. And there's so many awarenesses that I've had. There's so many epiphanies, and I really want to share some of them because some of them just now are surfacing after 7 months of being in this place of trying to figure out, what this next chapter looks like after separation and after divorce. Lots is surfacing and some really powerful awarenesses are coming through. And of course, I want to share them with you because if they help me shift in the way they have just recently, then I think they'll help you tremendously. And what I'm realizing is that, I went through a lot of self-betrayal by staying in a relationship that did not serve me. Now, I just want to preface this by saying my ex is not a bad person whatsoever. He is a beautiful, beautiful man. But self-betrayal just means that you allow yourself to be in a dynamic that does not allow for growth. And this was just based on innately who we are as people and our own personality traits. Again, neither of us being bad, good or indifferent, really. We just innately as humans don't allow each other to be the best version of ourselves. And that's simply what it comes down to. There's no drama. There was no crazy incidents or cheatings or whatever. It was simply the realization of we actually don't belong together. And then being able to draw on every single ounce of aligned bravery that was ever conjured up in me and deciding to leave and start a new life and live in a different house and have a whole different reality, which, again, if you've listened to my past episodes would know resulted in so much growth, but also debilitating grief and emotions that were so stifling that it felt hard to breathe sometimes. And I'm so lucky that I have had the most amazing support system. I have a business structure that has supported me literally for the last 7 months in processing all of this. I'm so grateful in the space that I've had to be able to really sit in this and shift so I can truly emerge anew. But what I really want to bring up today could be triggering. And if it is triggering, I hope it is in a way, because triggers are the next layer of growth that we get to sift through in order to liberate ourselves from the things that are truly holding us back. So if you feel any kind of thing when you hear me talk about this is the next adventure. This is the next Everest for you. So dig in deep like I have, because I promise you what's on the other side of this is, oh my gosh, the best ever. It's just the next level everything. So what I realized is that I would rather go through the most excruciating emotional pain and debilitating grief in order to break through any patterns that I have of self-betrayal. I want to talk about self-betrayal today because that is a huge one. I realized that I was betraying myself on so many levels by keeping myself in such a misaligned situation because I thought it was for the betterment of everyone around me. But what I didn't realize was that was like my slow demise. It was like me suffocating my soul on every single level. And if those of you who are listening to this are struggling with a really, really hard decision because you think it's going to negatively impact people around you, I want you to know that your soul alignment is everybody else's soul alignment around you as well. You can't be afraid to hurt people, and you can't be afraid to put yourself first in order to avoid you being in self-deprecating patterns of self-betrayal. So lesson number 1, I will never betray myself the way I used to again. I will never do it again. It is never worth it. Oh, I just think about the emotions I used to go through, the density that I used to trudge through daily, trying to pretend to be okay, but really just shoving everything down deeper and deeper and deeper until my body wouldn't let me do it anymore. I became pretty depressed. Some days I didn't want to get out of bed. I will never allow myself to get into those self-destructive patterns of self-betrayal. When we look at self-betrayal, we need to look at what is below the surface of it. A lot of times it is issues around being worthy. Like, am I worthy of real love? Am I worthy of real passionate, wildly mutual love? Or will I continue to betray myself for settling for monotony? Monotony does not necessarily have to mean in your relationship. And also, if you have a monotonous relationship, it doesn't mean you should leave the person. You just got to figure out why. And, if your relationship's in the maybe zone, like mine was for years, you have to figure out, can you get it back into the hell yes zone, or is it a no zone? This is the biggest lesson in alignment. There are things in your reality that are a yes. There are things in your reality that are a no. And there are also things in your reality that are a maybe. And the most dangerous place that you could ever be energetically is stuck in maybe land, because that energy is fence-sitting energy. It clogs up your energetic field worse than anything. So for years, I tried to get my marriage back into the yes land, and it did not want to go there. And I sat in this place of self-betrayal, allowing myself to sit in the monotony, to be in an energy where the undercurrent was always that of resentment or anger. Even though it wasn't outwardly spoken or outwardly toxic, it was just a constant humming energy of density that I could not escape. And I chose not to, which was me totally betraying myself. So again, if we look at what is underneath self-betrayal, we need to also look at self-worth. And one of my testaments to myself and to the universe is that I will never settle for less than what I know I'm worthy of having. I didn't feel worthy of having real love. I felt just too afraid to lose it. So then I settle. I settle for monotony. I settle for things that aren't quite in alignment, that are kind of below what I dreamt of having for myself, but I was too afraid of losing it. So I let that desire take a back seat because it was safe. It was safe. And what I didn't realize is that I was massively in self-betrayal mode, because I didn't have enough worthiness within myself to choose what it is I really wanted, or what it was that I really wanted. So what sits underneath all of this? Self-betrayal, lack of worthiness. The next thing we need to look at is justifications. What sits underneath self-betrayal is justifications. I justified everything. It was easier that way. We were peaceful. We had a kid. We have assets. I justified until literally I was suffocating myself to death. Now, what you must know, every time you break through these old layers of self-betrayal, you crack open new layers of your own self-worthiness. So self-betrayal and self-worthiness are tied together. They're interwoven together. So when you break free of the patterns of self-betrayal, you crack open new layers of self-worthiness. And when you do, everything in your life goes to the next level. Everything, because energy does not discriminate. I'm talking health. I'm talking your business. I'm talking money. I'm talking relationships. I'm talking sex. I'm talking all of it. It will all go to the next level. But here's what you need to know about this. We interrupt this awesome podcast episode to tell you about my life-changing Quantum Business Academy. If you are ready to take your business to the next levels of abundance and freedom, then you're definitely going to want to hear more. Please don't take my word for it though. Here is one of our alumni sharing their experience.
Wow, where do I even begin with QBA and serotonin and my time in the container? Let's start with knowing that I have the permission to create my wildest, deepest, biggest vision. I had my highest cash day. I completely changed the direction of my business. I landed in my purpose and my passion. I felt like being a part of it all has given me the permission to truly be me and make the deepest impact possible. Yeah, wow. Serotonin and QBA changed my life. It was so deeply healing to be in a space with like-minded people who are service-based, here to literally serve other souls, and to be held in such a space where you can come as you are and you are seen in your unique gifts, your talents, your desires, and to have your vision come to life around other beautiful people is something that I will be forever grateful for. And being led by Sarah in all of her vulnerability, her humor, her loving, unconditional, nurturing ways. Wow. Honestly, wow. If you want to know more, then please head over to my show notes, book a call with me, or you can message me in DMs. Now let's get back to the podcast. We only live. We can only break through the patterns. We can only release self-deprecating behaviors. We can only let go of self-betrayal to the degree that we are willing to be annihilated. That is one of my favorite quotes from Glennon Doyle. We only live to the degree that we are willing to be annihilated. However, what Glennon didn't say is that self-annihilation can come in two forms. One where we continuously grow, and that means we constantly experience the egoic deaths and then the rebirths. And that annihilation, that type of annihilation, is your ego dying. It is your old reality falling away so the new one can emerge. And let me tell you, egoic deaths are not easy. You literally have to let your old world fall away. And guess what happens then? It is us floating in the unknown, hanging over the abyss, wondering where we're going to land. And too many people are afraid to go through that. And so guess what? We are choosing to live in our known hell over our unknown heaven. But let me tell you, self-egoic annihilations are required if you want to experience something better. So we are only willing to live to the degree that we are willing to be annihilated. And this is to the degree that we are willing to look at the stuff that is not serving us and allow that aspect of us to die away. So the other type of annihilation that Glennon doesn't talk about is your self-betrayal annihilation. And this is what I call soul annihilation. And soul annihilation is every single time somebody says you're too little, too big, too emotional, too loud, too successful, too bright, too deep, too much of a risk taker. And you passively start to accept those lies as your truth. This is the type of annihilation I refer to as soul annihilation. And this is the type of annihilation where you continuously choose to betray yourself by way of not taking a stand. I am so sick of myself not taking a stand for who I am and what my authentic truth is that I am now truly willing to risk it all. And I have. I have risked it all. I have stepped away from the life I knew. I have broken up a family, and not to say I have broken up a family. It was kind of a mutual agreement that yes, this is the only way forward in terms of happiness. And so, but I was the one that chose to leave. And admittedly, my ex said he would have never have left. So I had to take a stand, and I will continuously take a stand for my desires and what I truly believe to be true in terms of what I know I am worthy of having on every single level. And trust me when I say there are always going to be new layers of worthiness, but you can only discover those new layers when you choose to stop betraying yourself. Somebody said the other day that authenticity is one of the highest vibrating frequencies. It's like higher than the vibration of joy. Authenticity. So when we choose to betray ourselves, we are stepping out of our own authenticity. We are choosing somebody else's truth, somebody else's reality, somebody else's preference, somebody else's alignment over our own, and we are dimming our light. This is one of the biggest forms of soul annihilation. Now, soul annihilation can be very sneaky. It's like it will slowly slither in, constricting every ounce of you until that spark of yours is no longer, until you feel totally empty. Now, what I want to say to you is that every single day you are choosing the annihilation that you go through. Whether you like it or not, you are choosing your egoic annihilation, which means new rebirths, new layers of worthiness, new expressed desires, new and wonderful experiences, or you are choosing soul annihilation, which means that you are letting lies become your truth. Now, I want you to sit in this. I know it might be triggering, but I want you to let yourself see which one you're choosing and then start to choose differently, because I promise you what is on the other side of your truth and your authenticity, your worthiness, your alignment, your desires, and then you taking a stand for it all are the most delicious versions of your reality that you could ever imagine. And as we sit here today, I can legitimately tell you so much has shifted that I couldn't have even comprehended it. I couldn't have comprehended it. But it was because I chose the path less traveled. I chose the unfamiliar heaven over the familiar hell. And trust me, that is the hardest decision you could possibly make. I choose every day annihilation of my own ego, and I let the things that are not true burn to the ground so I can let the things that are reemerge. And so this is your opportunity to look at what type of annihilation you choose every single day, because one will get you a life that is more true and more beautiful than you could ever imagine, or one will keep you stifled and suffocated and dense and will never let you tap into your truest and most beautiful potential that is there waiting for you. So it's up to you to have a look at it and then to choose what type of annihilation you go through every single day. Thank you so much for listening. And as always, I am here if you need anything. Feel free to send me an email. Feel free to message me on Instagram or Facebook. And I will see you on the next episode. Thank you so much for listening today, beautiful soul. I hope you got so much gold and were activated in such a way that you could step into your highest timeline of abundance and freedom, because it is more than possible for you. If that desire has been planted in your soul, it is so deliberate. If you wouldn't mind, please rate, review, subscribe to this podcast so that we can get this message into the hearts and ears of more amazing light beings across the world. I would love to continue this conversation with you, so feel free to get in touch on Instagram at sarah.tynan.quantumcoach. If you're a Facebook person, you can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/Sarah Tynan International. And please don't ever forget, if your desire is there, it's because your destiny is there too. You just have to remember who you are. Bye for now, beautiful.